Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to my third video log, and this one is talking about E3. First off, E3 is finally over. We have a long list of games, short list of new consoles, and a lot of things that went on over these last 3 days. We're going to talk about that a little bit, and I want to know later on what you guys think about E3 in the comments below, okay? First thing we have to talk about is the Microsoft press conference. Um, Xbox One. I love Xbox. I've loved Microsoft since the original Xbox came out, and I've always supported them. Um, Overall, as a gamer, I liked what they showed in the Xbox press conference, the Microsoft press conference, but I was very, very disappointed that they didn't address certain concerns about the Xbox One. Number one was, of course, the DRM. Everybody wants to know what is going on with this DRM. We can't get an answer out of Microsoft. Eventually, an answer was given by the senior, or the guy that's always on stage, the weird-looking skinny guy, and his official answer was, if you do not have internet, you should probably stick to the Xbox 360. That is their offline device. That's a shitty answer, point blank. Um, it's really unhuman of an answer. I mean, the consumers are the ones that drive your business, and you're going to pretty much tell most of your potential customers to screw off. That's bewildering, to say the least. And it's really unfortunate because I think because of Microsoft's actions and because of his words specifically in that interview, it's going to turn a lot of people off of Xbox. And I think the Xbox One, while the DRM is definitely a terrible idea, and the whole used games is, who knows where that's going to end up. But it's really a shame because other than those problems, the Xbox One looks like a fantastic console. Xbox Live, for me, has always worked better than PlayStation Network, and I don't expect that to change into the next generation. However, I do expect that Xbox One players are going to have a very smaller community than current Xbox 360 players and future PS4 players, specifically because Microsoft isn't addressing the community properly. Um, that said, the contents of the press conference, I thought, outside of that, was impressive. Um, Killer Instinct is back. Who doesn't like Killer Instinct? I mean, it is the quintessential fun, just play with your friends, beat up guys, and watch cool shit happen. That's the essence of Killer Instinct, and it's back. Um, Great to see that back, personally. I cannot wait to play it. It looks fantastic. And that I thought was a great announcement. Also, they had Rise, which is going to be another launch title. Rise, Son of Rome is the full title. Game looks great, visually appealing. I like the Roman Empire. I think the Roman Empire is interesting. I think it hasn't been explored enough. So I think that would be a fantastic launch title for most people. Forza Motorsports 5, again, fantastic launch title. Game looks absolutely amazing. I'm one of the people who waited for so long for Gran Turismo. I ended up playing Forza. I love Forza now, and I still play Gran Turismo, but I do usually focus more time on Forza because my cousin plays it and a bunch of my buddies play it, and we can customize our cars. We can show a little bit of ourselves through the cars that we own, and I think Forza 5 is going to be an amazing game. Also, that's the launch title for Xbox One as well. Um, and then they showed other exclusives as well that will be out a little bit more towards next year. Um, Titanfall, which I'll talk more about in depth later, from Respawn Entertainment, looks good. And they didn't show a new Fable, which was interesting. They did tease a new Halo, but they didn't show any gameplay footage. They just had a very pretty cinematic. Um, so I don't expect a Halo to come out this year. or next year is even a little bit of a push because they're also working on that what is it called, the TV series. I think they're going to try to push that out rather than a new game. But the game, I think 343s did an amazing job with Halo 4. I think their storytelling with the Halo universe was slightly above what Bungie did with Halo. Not to say what Bungie did was bad at all, because they jump-started the entire series. They made Halo what it is today, and I salute Bungie. And I wish them luck on their new endeavor, which we'll talk about also later. But I think the storytelling overall for Halo 4 was much better than it was at least in Halo 3. Sorry. Um, Moving away from the Microsoft press conference, the next major press conference, I should say, because there was a lot of them in between, but the next major one was Sony. They finally showed the PlayStation 4 in its full form. To me, it looked like an Xbox One with a tilt, or you could call it a PlayStation 2. It looked like a regular console with nothing special about it, and I kind of felt bad for the guy that they brought up on stage. I was like, oh, this is our senior designer, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, congratulations, you guys paid an Asian guy to look at a PlayStation 2. Dumbasses. Regardless of what the console looked like, the hardware cannot be ignored. It looks to handle games in the same architecture as the Xbox One, which will make it easier than the cell architecture to develop for, which is a huge plus. It means we'll get games faster, and hopefully, let's all pray, Bethesda games will probably work faster. Work better, faster, and sooner on the next generation of PlayStation. As you guys know, Bethesda had a huge hiccup with Skyrim, and most of the stuff just now got released a few months ago. Presumably they blame the cell architecture and how something went wrong in translation. Whatever. Next generation, let's hope all that shit gets sorted out and people get the games they want on time with the correct content that they're willing to pay for. Other than that, Sony's press conference it kind of pulled in different directions. Where Microsoft focused solely on the games, Sony put a focus on the games. Yes, they showed Knack, which is going to be a launch title. I actually think that looks pretty fun. It kind of looks like Banjo-Kazooie for a new generation, kind of. Then they showed off Killzone Shadowfall. Fantastic looking game. Don't know how it plays. They said it's a little bit faster. It's not as heavy as the other Killzones. We'll see. Hopefully that it's fun. They also showed off. They didn't show off Drive Club, to my knowledge, which is interesting. I know they showed it off later on E3 stages, but at the press conference they mentioned that PlayStation Plus users would get a special version of it called Drive Club Plus, but they didn't actually show it. And they actually didn't show the regular game either. A little bit odd, but they chose to go with indie games. They want indie games to be prominent on their platform, which I think is great. Because I think indie games are really starting to come alive, and there are a lot of indie games out there nowadays that, in my opinion, are even better than AAA games that come out. And I think that developers really need a way to get them on consoles easier than, or as easy as it is for them to get their product onto Steam. Because I think Steam right now is blowing all the consoles away. As far as bang for your buck with sales and the ease of use for indie developers and the different spotlights that they have to show potential consumers their product. I think that Steam is way ahead of the consoles in that regard, and hopefully PlayStation is willing to step up and show that they are willing to help the indie developers get their foot in the door and show their product off to more people so that we can hopefully buy their product. Um, and the second thing that they really Sony really harped on was the consumer, which is great because let me tell you, this consumer, me, you guys out there, we're the ones who have to buy the product at launch for the full retail price because next year or a year after that they're going to drop the price. So really, Sony understands that it's up to us, the hardcore gamers, to really buy and spread how good their product is word of mouth. uh, Ps4, they said no DRM at all, not required, not mandatory by Sony at all. The interesting point there is it's not mandatory. Now, a lot of people miss this. It is still possible if a publisher, such as EA or Ubisoft, which is very popular with DRM on their PC games, if they want to, they can add DRM to a PlayStation 4 game. However, it's not mandatory like it is on the Xbox One. So, we still don't know how DRM is going to be handled in the next generation. That's going to be up to publishers, presumably. But Sony, at least for now, through word of mouth, is showing that they don't want to force anything on to the consumer because they're afraid that we might not embrace them. I'll tell you what I embrace. I embrace $100 cheaper. I embrace a diverse software library, and I embrace the fact that I can trade or sell back things that I've already bought to whoever, wherever, and whenever. That said, you kind of have to look at the Xbox One and realize the $100 that Sony, the $100 wiggle room that Sony has on their console is actually only $40 wiggle room, because just like on the Microsoft Xbox One, where where Xbox Live is required, the PlayStation 4 will require PlayStation Plus for multiplayer. Have to have it. It's not. It is an offline device, like they said. You can play your games offline. You don't have to be connected to the internet. However, if you want multiplayer for the PS4, you do need PlayStation Plus. Multiplayer on the Vita and the PlayStation 3 will remain free. However, it does not carry over to PlayStation 4. I'm sorry, your membership carries over, but it is still, you still have to pay. So that's a bit of a bummer for some people. For me, I don't have PlayStation Plus currently, but I've been hearing good things about it. I know they get free games all the time, both indie games and full AAA games. And I myself have been considering buying PlayStation Plus when I get the money. And if I continue to get free games into the life of the PlayStation 4, I don't see why I wouldn't sign up. Because multiplayer, free games. Listen, we get multiplayer, free games. I believe there were exclusive. You get access to a cloud or something. I don't know if Genkai was going to be included in that, which won't launch until 2014. But I'm pretty sure that will be a part of the experience. So those three things alone, to me, $60 a year, not really a big deal. I could use a couple less hamburgers. It's not, it's not going to kill me to have $60 come out of my account a year for PlayStation Plus. That said, Jack Tretton really kind of put a nail, or tried to put a nail in the coffin for the Xbox, because everyone was expecting Xbox to kind of address this and they didn't. Sony came out swinging. They made a case. They said, you know, this is what we're going to have. This is who we want to support, and we want our customers, our community, to really enjoy our product. And for me, if there was a so-called winner of E3 in just the first day alone, it would have definitely been Sony PlayStation 4, because they pretty much took the foot out of Xbox's mouth and kicked them square in the balls with it.